r/AskReddit by Reddit. Hot topic: employees of Reddit. What are your horror stories? My high school girlfriend worked their way back in the day. She said the worst part of the day was having to collect merchandise from the fitting rooms and cleaning the fitting rooms. Apparently, all sorts of nasty women would go in there and try on the panties, not use a liner, and just generally leave them all crusty and bad smelling. They would also leave pads and tampons all over. She said they had to throw away so much merchandise that was left in that condition. I feel like this may be a problem anywhere they sell clothes, but then again, Hot Topic may attract a different type of customer, so it might have happened more often. I worked in the softline section of Target for a couple years. My manager found a swimsuit with a used tampon in it in the fitting room. I remember people getting very angry when we told them they couldn't try on the underwear. I always wondered why they would want to try on underwear that someone else had potentially tried on. I worked in hardlines, but remember the horror stories of the fitting rooms. One of the most memorable is someone just took a dump on the floor, then proceeded to try to clean it up with the clothes they brought in to try on, and told no one. No one found it until closing, and it ruined a good bit of merchandise. I felt pretty terrible for the guy who had to clean it up. Edit. Forgot a few words due to mobile. I worked at a Hot Topic in 99 to 2000s. We used to get a fair amount of strippers that came in, because we were the only place around that sold see-through vinyl bikini tops and 6-inch stack boots and stuff like that anyway. Our fitting room was basically a hole cut in a wall with a mirror and a thick curtain that had to be pulled close just right. This one day, a stripper came in to try on a bunch of stuff and really didn't even bother with the curtain apparently. She was so used to people seeing her naked that it wasn't a big deal for her. Granted, this was a weekday morning and she and her boyfriend / manager / bodyguard or whatever were the only people in the store besides my manager and me. At one point she just stopped using the fitting room altogether and was just using the full-length mirror on the door to the stockroom / office. My manager and I really had no idea what to do, because at this point she's got about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of merchandise that she's probably buying, and this lady is good for both business and morale. She didn't seem to be worried at the prospect of anyone seeing her, and the way our store was set up was really narrow and long, and the display fixtures were tall and bulky. It was very difficult to see into and out of the store unless you were standing in the center aisle. It made loss prevention a nightmare, but really allowed this lady to let her freak flag fly. She finally puts her clothes on at the cash wrapper. She's checking out. My manager gave me so much crap after that because I was so embarrassed that I couldn't even make eye contact with the customer while I rang her up. That was the largest transaction I ever rang up in my time there, and paid for it with the largest wad of cash I'd ever seen in my life up to that point. TLDR: a stripper came in on a slow day and treated the store like her own private dressing room. I worked for 2 years at my local Hot Topic, and the worst stories both involved the fitting room. Our fitting room used to be a self-service room in the back of the store with a red curtain in front of it. An employee noticed 4 feet in the room and opened it to find 2 people having sex in it and had to clean up the remnants. A second incident came when a smell wafted from the same room. It was later discovered that someone had actually taken a dump in the room when they went in to try on clothes. We ended up fitted the room with a galvanized piece of chain and a master lock to keep the curtain open. Luckily, shortly thereafter, we got a full store overhaul that put in actual fitting rooms. We had to guard the dressing room like a fortress. I had to prevent a teenage girl, and who I thought was her boyfriend, from going in there. I also told her she couldn't take the armful of thongs they'd picked out into the dressing room. She goes, "Daddy, will you hold my panties?" and hands them over, and then tells me he's my stepdad, but I call him daddy. So then her 40-something methed out mom wanders over to confirm that yes, this teenage gigolo is her husband, that he is a few years older than her daughter, that they go to the same high school, and that she finds their whole dynamic adorable. Every time the girl called him daddy, her mom would cackle and tell me she just loves her daddy. They have classes together at school, and she loves telling everyone she goes to school with her daddy. They do everything together. She loves doing stuff with her daddy. That stuff almost made me go back to church. Edit. Since this is blowing up, If the story sounds familiar, I posted it on an alt several years back, and it got picked up by a clickbait site, so cast aside by pitchforks. Also no, it wasn't Alabama. Thursday is actually my last day with Hot Topic after 4 years. In general, the company is amazing to its employees and I've met some incredible people. But boy do I have stories. 1. I once found a condom on our anime section. It was open and filled with something. 2. We had a girl who I'm positive had some mental issue because she would get into the fitting room and try to lure anyone in there to help her, then try and seduce them. She was actually pretty but young and filled to the brim with crazy. 3. Alice Cooper came into the store once, totally unannounced, and brought a teacup pig. Absolutely wonderful person. Gave our metalhead associate tickets to his show and this dude about lost it. 4. Also met Machine Gun Kelly, Mayday Parade, We the Kings, and Maximum Green of Escape the Fate. MGK and the vocalist for WTK were buttholes. 5. We had a guy get thrown against the front gate on the morning of a Funko Pop release. In general, the job has taught me some pop collectors are grade A buttholes. 6. Had a woman ask me if she should go back to stripping after her C-section, then lifted her shirt to show me the scar and her T*TS. 7. We found out there was a group of mall rats who wrote fanfiction about the staff at our store. I never got to see any, and I'm glad for that. Worked there for 13 years. So much weird, but that's just retail in general. Caught a guy masturbating into women's shoes in the dressing room. People had sex in there more often than you'd be comfortable with. I worked for them when Columbine happened. We carried a brand of clothing back then called Serial Killer, which featured pop culture pics/references and some edgy saying, like a pic of Bruce Lee, that said revenge or something like that. The morning after Columbine happened, we got an email to pull all the Serial Killer clothing line off the sales floor, as well as every trench coat in the store. By the end of the day, I'd already had to call security twice due to people showing up at the store and harassing me for supporting those psychos and training the next ones. Then the TV networks showed up and pretty much camped the front of our store, harassing every customer as they walked in/out, asking them why this dark lifestyle attracted them. The mall ended up having security just hang out in front of our store and walking our employees to their cars for a week afterward. Honestly, it was the best job I ever had. The company was really supportive at the corporate level. I still have friends that worked there. They pretty much left me alone, so long as I made sales. So I had carte blanche to set up my stores the way I wanted, even if it didn't look like the planned merchandising setups they sent out. I had direct access with every debt, so if I felt my stores couldn't sell something they sent us, they'd let me transfer it somewhere else, and vice versa, get more bestsellers in. Honestly, if it wasn't for the working every weekend and closing a lot stuff, I would have continued working there. This was my first job in my college town, and generally, I absolutely loved it. You're treated like some super cool mini celebrity by all the little mall rats. The management was generally great to their employees, and the work wasn't too hard in my small low volume store. However, there was the issue of Valentine's Day. That year they were promoting all these different corsets and lingerie, as well as the Get in Our Pants campaign for the skinny jeans. Management wanted the employees to try and show the corsets not just as lingerie, but as fashion items, maybe paired with the skinny jeans. Increase sales and all. So there I am, Valentine's Day, in a black corset and tight black skinny jeans and boots. Way more sexy than 18-year-old me with a still developing body was comfortable with. In comes Creepy McCreeper, a 50+ something dude who says he wants to buy something for his wife, but wants some help picking it out. Not once did his eyes look at my face. The entire time I'm helping him, he's staring at my little chest and making weird comments about how I remind him of his daughter, or being uncomfortably comfortable telling me explicit details about his wife's body. He then asks me to try it on and show him, so he could see how it would look on his wife. Luckily, shy 18-year-old me awkwardly laughed it off and got him past the register and out of the store. I loved that job, but Jesus, did it draw some weirdos. I worked here seasonally in high school, around 2006, and honestly the cringiest part of the job were my coworkers constantly telling me I'm not punk rock enough. I would wear band tees and jeans, and had a nose ring. Sorry, I didn't want to shave half my head and dye it orange for a mall job. They would literally jeer at me to go work at Hollister, literally being the people they claim to hate. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.